Well, hey everybody, welcome back. Pat Sims here again with electrical power and control. Today we want to look at our rental panel. This is the kickoff of our distribution line. We've got others that are coming, but we want to dig into this today and answer a couple of questions. One we've been getting is, why should I rent or why not rent? Also, we want to look at the purpose and the intent of the rental line, and we also want to look at some of the specs and the availability of all of our rental panels. So stick around, we'll get right to it. All right, let's dive right in. Let's open up this big heavy door and get ready to access. Now, the cool thing about the panel itself, we've modified the whole dead front. Instead of having a bolt on dead front, you turn your latch screws, got one left right here, turn them, easy peasy. Even made a convenient little hand grip right here where you can just open it up. You can access everything you'll need. Now let's look at the question about why rent versus why not rent. A couple of options that come to mind. One is you have a planned outage and you have a need for temporary power, but you don't want to lug a small little roll around 5,000 watt generator. You need more power than that, but you may not need a large amount of power. You can dial it back with this. We can put everything from a 15 amp all the way up to a 1200 amp in the distribution side. So that's something to consider. Also, when we send them out to you, you tell us ahead of time when you need it, what size breakers and how many you need in it, and we provide everything for you in one shipment. Typically, we can get these out the same day as long as we have an order, sealed up to do the deal. One thing I do want to address is another reason you may want to rent. Say you don't have a means of disconnect, or you want a main breaker, or you don't want a main breaker. This one is set up as a main lug. So basically, where all your lugs are, it's cabled and it goes through the back, and it has lug connections or plug-in connections like these on the side. You'll notice this is actually for your neutral and your ground down here, the green one. Same thing in the back, you're going to have A, B, and C phase, or 1, 2, and 3. He'll have all of those connected here. So another reason you may want to look at renting, you never want to think about your plant being down, but sometimes we get calls later in the evening or early in the morning, and it'll be because someone has a piece of equipment that is blown up or is down. This is a perfect fit for that. Another scenario is possibly you have the need for just a main standalone, like a 2000 or 2500 amp, indoor or outdoor. We can provide those as well. So that is, to me, a good reason to rent, either a planned outage or an unplanned outage when you have an explosion or a breakdown. So we'll be glad to help you with any of those possibilities. Okay, well, let's look at why not rent. You may be that person that just doesn't want to or don't see a need to rent a panel. I'll give you a scenario. We had a customer one time, he didn't want to rent, but he found himself in his own Mother's Day. He had an explosion. His distribution equipment was down. He had to remove that equipment. He could not power his facility back up, and he was losing production time. So what we did with him was we rented him a 2000 amp main breaker only. He was able to cable around, tie into what was left of his distribution. And during that time, while it was on rental, we were able to go in, design, he removed all the bad equipment, and we were able to build a spec one for him. He installed it, and then he was able to have a weekend power down, installed the equipment, and then removed the rental and returned it to us. So that's a scenario where he wasn't a renter, but he realized that it was a good option to have. So if you ever find yourself in that position, you may want to reach out to us. We've got many options that we'd love to provide for you on rental and purchase of equipment. So we're going to look now at the purpose, what we call the intent, why we intend the intent on building the panel, and the purpose and kind of the functionality and all that together. A couple things we want to look at, obviously, being a technician and having to go on the road a lot, used to kind of come off the road, but there were certain things about the way things were manufactured that you wish the engineer would have thought it through a little more. You sometimes, after doing it so many times, you may have a better idea as a tech or someone that's having to swap breakers out. But a couple of those things I'll show you right over here on the side. Now this is your neutral and your ground that I talked about earlier, but these twist lock, these cam lock connectors, just quick and easy. We've also got in the back, you can't see the back of it right now, but they're color coded and they're just like the ones in the front. So you've got red, black, and blue. That's your A, B, and C phases. So same thing as you see on the side here for neutral and ground. The same termination points for all three phases are located in the back outside of the panel. So again, they're all made to go outdoors. They will be capped and weather resistant. So that's good because you can take this thing anywhere, whether it's a quarry, a belt line, whatever. But also the ease of use. Step right up here. We'll take one of these breakers out and just show you. Since we have a swing door that I showed you a moment ago, let's just take a quick look at that. Easy handle operation. You can see my hand through there. It's just like a little hand grip. You got two set screws right here. You turn those, you're accessing the bus, the breakers, the cable, everything. So that takes every bit of 30 seconds. Once you've loosened your retainer screw and your load cables are off, or if you're putting a new circuit in, you'd slide the breaker in. If you're taking the breaker out to replace it or make a larger circuit, put your screwdriver in it, boom, pop it out. That's why I love eye-lines. But that's why we went with eye-lines. Easy to put in, easy to take out, and then you would just wire your cable, your load side out. Don't know if you can see that. The load side cables would travel. We've got an open cavity down here at the bottom with a pass-through door that comes out and under so they stay dry. So another neat little feature. So if you're a tech guy, that's pretty cool. Also, let's look at the availability of the spec availability on what we can offer in this size can. We can put a 30 circuit or we can put a 42 circuit like this one. If we do a 42 circuit, typically that's going to be a main lug, which is going to be cable in from the bottom for your lugs, and there'll be no main breaker to turn it off. We can also do it in a 30 circuit and put a main breaker in where you have a means of disconnect locally. So we would put that in this area here and just bus it into your main bus. So you have a means of disconnect here, or if it's main lug, you have a means of disconnect upstream in your system. So those are cool little things that we work in there. Also the mobility of this guy. It's heavy. It's about 750 pounds. Don't know if you can see them. We've got two very large gauge steel hooks at the top. You can put a choker on there. You can lift it with a forklift, small crane, cherry picker. Also, you can move it around. It's balanced well to handle a wind load, a shear load. It's got forklift pockets at the bottom. You can either put a pallet jack in and move it by hand if you're on concrete, or you can bring a forklift in, pick it up and move it wherever you need to on a job site. Set it down somewhere secure, plug and play, you're ready, running up in no time. So hopefully we can help you with some of these. If you need them, you'll see the information there. You can call us, you can text us, you can reach out to us. We'd love to earn your business and help you on your next build.